Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another Dota 1 cast. I am B-Ball, and this is the Filipino Grand Final portion of the GMPGL Southeast Asian Grand Finals tournament that was held last week in the Philippines, or in Malaysia. I'm actually not too sure where the tournament was actually held, because as you all know, last week, Typhoon Haiyan happened. So, as a bit of a tribute, and also as a last hurrah to Dota 1, since Dota 1 is transitioning to Dota 2 in Southeast Asia, I'm going to be casting every single Dota 1 tournament, or every single Dota 1 tournament replay that I can find from this tournament. And they're relatively recent, but keep in mind that this is still 6.78 because Dota 1 has not yet received the patch to 6.79, although IceFrog has been working on it every day according to Play Dota. So, good on IceFrog for keeping a passionate community still involved, but this is likely the last straw. The Chinese still keep their replays under tightly guarded wraps, so these are the most public recent Dota 1 competitive replays that I can find. Anyways, I might sound different. I am actually using a studio mic for the first time. Not the most expensive studio mic, but before I was using a headset mic that was sort of taped together for 2 years, so my voice might sound a little bit different. I'm trying to figure out a way to reduce the echo, but until I figure it out, you might have to deal with a slight bit of echoing sensation, I suppose. Anyways, this is a match between Pacific.Revitalize and iZone.Gigabyte. So how this tournament works is on the first day, which this was, the two top Filipino teams, I guess, throughout the GMPGL competition playoff in order to compete for a cash prize. Then on days 2 and 3, the top Southeast Asian teams, which also include the Filipino teams, then participate for a chance to win $10,000 total. So that includes Dota 1 and Dota 2. So each competition had a prize pool of $10,000, which is not too shabby considering how sort of underfunded the Southeast Asian region is. But of course, if you have been living under a rock, or well, I guess that's not really the best way to put it, but if you have not realized, then Typhoon Haiyan actually happened last week, and it wrought devastation upon the entire Southeast Asian region, and most particularly the Philippines. And still now there are a lot of, well, I can't even really say it because I can't really understand. I mean, I'm living here comfortably in the United States, but I'm sure in the Philippines, there's just havoc and devastation. People are trying to get food and water, and many people have died. Storm surge, category 5, typhoon or hurricane. Just, it's brutal. Not much more can be said, so I'm gonna have a quick moment of silence. Yeah, that was a little bit awkward, and should have said had a moment of silence for all those affected by the typhoon, but you know what, this is sort of a spur of the moment thing, as I wasn't really intending to cast many more Dota 1 replays, but as a last trot to the incredibly passionate Southeast Asian community that still surrounds Dota 1 and is now transitioning to Dota 2, as well as all those who are affected by the typhoon. And even though it's not really the best idea to always escape into sort of computer games and stuff like that, I think considering the fallback, which is just to reflect on the devastation, some people might want to escape. So I don't know if you fans in the Philippines have access to the internet at this moment, but if you do, well, this one's out to you. But really, anyways, enough of all that sappy stuff. Let's get into the game. I'm not usually one for all that sappy shit. Usually I make emo vlogs bitching about, I can't cast, meh. That's basically all I do. But anyways, going into this match, Pacific.Revitalize and iZone.Gigabyte. Again, this is 6.78. So, a bit surprised that Barra received such a late ban, no Wisp ban, but the Southeast Asian region did always have a different take on how to deal with heroes. Keep in mind, they were the ones who pioneered the Bottle Crow and pioneered things like Shadowblade Alchemist, Shadowblade Dragonite, or Lothar's Edge, I suppose. And they still like Drow, as Drow is a top tier pick in this version apparently. Although Drow was buffed in 679 in Dota 2, I don't think she's necessarily that strong, but against this lineup that iZone is running, which has a lot of range heroes, which don't really have too many heroes that get up in your face other than Timber Saw, and you can just kite Undying to a pretty severe degree, then Drow should be able to get the large boost that she gets from Marksmanship Ultimate. And man, it had actually been a while, because the last time I casted a Southeast Asian game, I think Shredder, aka Timbersaw, was a pick, and he was very rarely seen, but, well, 7 months, 6 months happened, and now Timbersaw Shredder is apparently a top tier hero in the Southeast Asian scene, like he is in Dota 2. So looking at the bans, Tree, I mean, the Southeast Asian region just loves to kill each other, and Tree just prevents that to a significant degree. Weaver, very annoying to hunt down and kill. Naga just pretty much cockblocks, teamfights Dragonite, one of the better mid solo laners because he's so difficult to kill. Puck, again, strong mid laner. Not too sure about the silencer ban. Maybe that's sort of a respect ban to Pacific.Revitalize. Maybe they run a pocket silencer strategy. But it's most likely because these guys want to spam their abilities. You can see Shredder has a lot of spam abilities. Undying has Decay, which you can spam. Keep in mind, this is the old version of Decay, which means it doesn't last from 40 seconds at level 1. This is the old version of Pugna, so Necrobook is not particularly strong, and the Blast still does a lot of damage, but again, Necrobook is not the strongest ability in the sort of table. Windrunner wants to spam, all these heroes want to spam. Meanwhile, Pacific.Revitalize pick up a more versatile team. They do have a strong gank support, but look for these guys just to protect Drow as much as possible, as I'm not too sure Pacific.Revitalize could potentially run aggressive trialing because they don't have the best offlane heroes in the pool, but they could even put Drow in the offlane if they think they can get a 1v1 match, because Drow does do pretty well in most 1v1 matchups. Meanwhile, because this is Southeast Asian Dota 1 region, a lot of times in this version where dual lanes are not particularly strong, you'd see 1v3 lane situations where it's one person in the off lane, 3 people on the safe lane, and vice versa. But because this is the Philippines and this is Southeast Asian Dota 1, it's going to be Trion versus Trion, offlane versus off, or 1v1 up here, Trion versus Trion down here, and a 1v1 mid matchup right here. So expect to see a lot of action. Dirge just automatically gives his team an aggressive Trion advantage, but we're going to see a last pick up Skyrath. Pretty unusual, as he was popular in the Filipino region, and I think he's still quite strong because most of the time the Filipinos just, or the Pinoys, I guess, just don't really move outside their lane too much, and Skyrath, he's very susceptible to ganks because he has 0 base armor, and he's pretty easy to bring down, but if he's not interrupted, then until you manage to get a BKB, Skyrath can do a lot of work. So let's get into this game, introducing the players and the teams. We're going to have Momats on Pacific.Revitalize playing the Jakiro, Hihi is playing the Shadow Fiend, Ace is playing the Drow, Ku is playing the Nerubian Assassin, and EMZ is playing the Shadow Demon Meal on the side of iZone.Gigabyte. We're going to have Heart playing the Pugna. I can't really say Heart to all of them, can I? No, they're all Heart. Maybe that's a tribute, I don't know. Maybe they're just really happy to be playing in these grand finals. But everybody is Heart, apparently, as I'm sure they're doing this tag to support all their brethren in the Filipinos, or in the Philippines, as these guys are proud Pinoys, as are these guys as well. But these guys are definitely the more favorites because I think iZone.Gigabyte has been playing quite well recently, if I'm not mistaken. Meanwhile, Pacific.Revitalize is a very strong team, but I don't know if they've had nearly the success as iZone.Gigabyte. Anyways, looks like the heroes are going to make their way back into the lanes, as it's going to actually be not a Trion vs. Trion situation. Undying as well as Winner are making their way towards the top lane, and Pugna looks like he's camping out in the mid lane at the moment, so we're not going to see a Trion vs. Trion action. Instead, we're going to see a more stable 6.78 sort of matchup. And Drow and Shadow Demon versus Timbersaw. Usually Timbersaw can sort of handle dual lanes all by himself, but Drow is just so annoying to deal with because her Frost Arrows at max do 60% slow, and Shadow Demon, if you manage to get 1 point of Soul Catcher, that can pretty much negate all of the reactive armor benefits that Timbersaw or Shredder can get. So
a player's forces are under attack.
you know, Shredder already forced to go into the creeps or into the neutrals, and he is just gonna have missile time now that Jakiro has made his way down here because now there's disruption to Ice Path, And once Xiaodun hits level 2, then that is pretty much going to be a for sure kill, since this combination has so much range on their side. Drow has 650 range if I'm not mistaken, and these other two heroes, Disruption has 650 casting range, Ice Path has a ridiculous cast range, so Shredder not going to get too much done. But because Precision Aura naturally pushes the creep wave, then Shredder will be able to get some sounds of experience as long as these heroes don't dive under the tower, which... But yeah, back to this mid lane matchup, which is very interesting. The reason why I think Xiaofeng has a slight advantage is because Skywrath has 1 base armor. So that is just really, really devastating. And once Xiaofeng starts to get his Battle Crow online, it's going to be very difficult, but it looks like Xiaofeng overplayed his hand significantly, as the range on these orb attacks have such a long range that they can even outlast that Shadow Rays range, which is 900 at its farthest point. So a bit of an underestimation of Skywrath Mage by the Xiaofeng. Didn't think he'd go for the kill so very early on. I would have rather seen the Xiaofeng try to pick up his ball, which he already has. And he is level 3, so he has that level 2 race, but I'd rather he go for it at level 4. We can actually trade the physical harassment a little bit better, because, yeah, you have a good amount of souls, but still, it might not be enough. Even with Precision Aura, keep in mind Drow, until she might get level 6, Precision Aura actually does not help her all too much.
A player's forces are under attack.
Meanwhile, we're going to see a push attempt. Pugna just driving back the Ruben Assassin relentlessly as the power shot manages to snipe him off. That was a pretty high damaging power shot, as level 2 power shot, 180 damage if I'm not mistaken. Well, I probably am mistaken, but the Ruben Assassin was brought down. Gonna have to be careful. The Tombstone has died down, but we're already going to see another blast.
Player's forces are under attack.
But you can see Xiaofeng, because of the raise spam ability, has managed to sort of climb on top of the CS chart, as he is just pushing the wave. Now in Dota 2, or not in Dota 2, but once the wave has been pushed out, you can just farm these neutrals very, very easily, and because the pulse spawns have not...
A player's forces are under attack. A town is under siege. A player's forces are under attack.
Fortunately for Nerman Assassin, zombies give a significant amount of experience, so he's getting himself right back into this as Skywrath.
A town is under siege. A player's forces are under attack.
All the while, this tier 2 on the top lane in a lot of trouble, as the impaled that Netherward did way too...
A player's forces are under attack.
And it's going to be a while before Xiaofeng can get his BKB online. Until he gets his BKB, the burst damage from the Shredder, the burst damage from the Scout Mage, the burst damage from the Pugna is just going to be way too much for Xiaofin to deal with. And a lot of times the Filipino Xiaofins like to rush that, I guess, Lothar's edge as. But still, with 2 towers being pushed, it might not be the worst idea to go straight into a Xiaowei just so you can start to get a split push game going on. But I have a feeling that once these guys manage to pick up a mech, then they're just going to be 5-manning all over the place. And Xiaofin, if he even decides to go for a split push build, it might just be a little bit too late. So he's going to need to fight, and he's going to need to fight ASAP, and for that he does need the BKB. Meanwhile, Nerubian Assassin 1 and 3 did manage to pick up a kill on the winner, but he is really struggling, has barely any CS, as he's just managed to now pick up his bottle. Going to be working towards his boots, and then I'm not too sure what he'll go for after that. The only bright spot is that Ace has been free-falling, 37 CS on a Drow. Pretty good considering Drow's abysmal attack animation, even in Dota 1, does carry over, as she is level 6, so now she has a lot of damage to work with, but still has to be very careful because she is squishy. And now the Triumvirate of Heroes, well, I guess if you include the Shredder, I guess the quadruple formation of the Dire or the Scourge Heroes have made the way towards the bottom lane, and they are going to look to pressure this Drow. Drow immediately doing the smart move, getting the heck out of there. But Skywrath Mage pretty much by himself is keeping down the Xiaofin, as Xiaofin, Bracer, Wand, Boots, not the most effective of Xiaofin early game items, but he is sort of forced to go this route, as he has just been having a miserable time thus far. And the pushing power and dying drops his tombstone, pretty much obliterating the creep waves as well as driving out anybody else who is coming in to reinforce. Power shot from long range, Nether Blast to help burst down towers, Ward to prevent spammability of the spellcasts. This is a deadly pushing lineup, and right now it is just coming to great effect as Drow. It's going to be a long time before she becomes effective enough to stop a 5-man death ball that's coming away, as Mystic Flare was able to then I guess level 3 probably does around 90 to 100.
Player's forces are under attack.
Meanwhile, we're going to finally see our
Town is under siege. A player's forces are under attack.
Double kill. Killing spree. Double kill. Killing spree. Triple kill.
A town is under siege. A player's forces are under attack.
And if he can just charge in, even against 3 people and pick up 1 and still survive, then he is going to be able to stop the push, because this right now the Scourge just want to group up minus the Skywrath. But if they can't group up, then their push has pretty much ground to a halt, because if you focus on the Pugna, then your push does get ground to a halt. If you focus on the Undying, then there goes the sustainability of Soul Rip as well as the frontline tank that you do need to take these pushing engagements. So the Scourge running into a bit of a halt, but they still have a lot of tower goal on their side. They still have a healthy kill lead. And if we look at the experience right now, looks like it's pretty much even across the board, as a level 4 Jakiro, not that good, but overall the Scourge have slightly lower levels because they have been grouping up a bit more. Outside of the Skyrath, of course, who has just been left by his lonesome, is level 11 and picked up a point booster. Not too sure if this is going to be, well, I guess it kind of has to be a Bloodstone, because Aghanim Scepter Skyrath has not been implemented in 678.
A player's forces are under attack.
Meanwhile, they're just waiting for Skyrath Mate to push up, but Nerubian Assassin is under the cover of smoke.
Town is under siege.
but now they're going to start charging. They don't have the tombstone, so they're going to have to be careful, as Nerving Assassin taking a lot of damage even now. But now Drow is here. He's going to be enough to defend the assault with the help of the Nerving Assassin. But this Pugna Nether Blast still going to work, chipping at this tower, and still doing a bit of residual damage to the tower nonetheless. And now you can see that tree band starting to make a bit more sense, because Pugna's main weakness is the tree. Because of course it can just regenerate towers, and Pugna wants to end the game ASAP. Now, if I were the Scourge, I'd try to get Pugna level 7 so you can get a bit more damage on the Nether Blast, but they're just going to be very content to 5-man up, as they're going to make a mecha on the Windrunner, Undying. Looks like he just picked up Arcane Boots. Go triple Arcane Boots, so these heroes will never run out of mana, but that's even more mana for the Ruin Assassin and Mana Burn. And I think in this game, you want to skip that 4 points into Spike Carrots. You want to max Mana Burn ASAP after Impale. And I think that's probably what the Ruin Assassin is doing in this game. Now, if Pugna went for the normal Pugna build, then this is probably a level... Oh, it's a level 3 Nether Ward, as he skipped Decrepify and the Life Drain entirely. And this is a smart response because, I mean, Decrepify level 1, it's better for laning, where you can just go in, drop the Decrepify and the Blast and do a lot of damage as a mid laner. And of course, Life Drain is better in sustained teamfights. Right now, these guys just want to push. And having that level 3 Nether Ward is just going to be very, very useful in making sure that happens. As right now, these heroes are going to group up, as looks like the Scythe Mage was spotted, 306 damage on that Mana Burn, still absolutely... as that was just way too much. Shadow Fiend going to be pushing the bottom lane all the while, as he is taking way too much damage. Going to go for the Shadow Blade or the Lothar's Edge, but he's got to be careful. He's going to pop the Requiem as a bit of reduced damage. Can he get the last Shadow Rays? He will. As Shadow Fiend will make his way back. Drow does kill off a tower, but I'm very hesitant on this Shadow Blade first, or this Lothar's Edge build first on the Shadow Fiend. I really think...
A player's forces are under attack.
And yeah, split pushing, or Lothar's Edge is better for split pushing, but I think, considering that this is the last tier 2 tower, and the Scourge have all but one of their tier 1 towers, split pushing is not the way to go. They're going to have to fight sooner rather than later, and having a BKB going to go a long way, as the Sentry Ward will spot the Nerving Assassin, going to get the Impale as well as the Mana Burn, doing so much damage to Pugna, with Mechanism will pop in. Pugna taking way too much, but he pops the Magic Wand.
A player's forces are under attack.
Killing spree. Double kill.
A player's forces are
And the Scourge just running ram shot over the Sentinel. And you can see this Lothar's Edge build just really not coming in handy. So, really have to disagree with the Shadow Fiend in this build. Bit surprised he didn't even go for Treads. As, keep in mind, Lothar's Edge is 3,000 gold. That is...
A player's forces are under attack.
Jakiro gonna hit level 6, and this Macro Power...
Player's forces are under attack.
Double kill. Mega kill. Double kill.
but they're going to do a significant chunk of damage to this tier 3, and with the Arcane Boots, Pugna will never run out of mana. You know, Jakiro will respawn, but he's already getting slowed. Mystic Flare will pop. Look at Jakiro melt, and that is so rare at 60 minute games. Rarely will you see a Jakiro, one of the tankiest intelligence supports in the game, absolutely get obliterated.
A player's forces are under attack.
As he is just racing as fast as possibly can, but the Scourge might very well push in. They're going to spot the Drow in so much trouble. She's going to go for a Shadow Blade herself.
A player's forces are under attack.
Killing spree.
A player's forces are under attack.
Bloodstone fish on Skyrath. The drum is finished on the Pugna, and we'll see if he pops the drum charges just to try to bring down this middle barracks. As looks like he doesn't think there'll be a fight just yet, so gonna hold on to the extra bit of move speed as well as attack speed. He knows he can just chip away with the Nether Blast, and all while Shredder close to finishing his old Bloodstone. And these Scourge heroes, they themselves are pretty squishy, but now they're getting very tanky. Undying, very tanky. As Shadow Fiend shackled, chakrammed. Oh my god. Was blown the hell up, as this will be a pretty easy melee barracks. Shouting, trying to spam that Shadow Poison, but right now the Scourge killed off the melee barracks, killed off the range barracks, and they're going to go immediately to the bottom lane, not letting off the gas pedal for even in an instant. They know they have a huge advantage. Skyrath Mage level 14 just does way too much before any of these heroes has a BKB, and Charge is going to go in ham. As this might be the end of game 1. I think this is best of 3 series if I'm not, but right now I just rolling over the Sentinel in this game.
Player's forces are
Drow trying to do whatever he can, but Drow very poor in terms of defending pushes. Really wants to go for those solo kills.
Unstoppable.
town is under siege. A player's forces are under attack.
Looks like Skyrath did kill the Drow in the meantime, and Drow I gotta imagine Drow's regretting as Skyrath Mage picks up Blink Dagger, so he's gonna be the initiator now. Pugna Force Staff, Undying Pipe. So Races and Shadow Poison not doing nearly as much now. Windrunner, despite picking up an unstoppable streak, only a Mecha as well as an Arcane Boots. Is there anything on the courier? That has a Necro Book level 1 as well as a Force Staff. Probably finding the way of the Windrunner. Meanwhile, the Shredder has fished his own Bloodstone, picked up a Ghost Scepter. As this is definitely going to be the last hurrah push. I really don't think the Sentinel have what it takes to defend this mass onslaught push, as Spike Carapace will pop with this.
A player's forces are under attack.
This build is just stupid. Like, you can't even justify this build at all.
Forces are under attack.
He went for Boots of Travel, which is... doesn't make any sense. He's not going to be pushing out anything. They're not going to be global ganking. This spell just is not good. Yeah, he can split push out the lanes, but right now he's split...
Town is under siege.
As right now, I don't think, even if he fought with it, it might... You know, this tier 3...
Triple kill. Dominating.
Town is under siege. A player
And while Drow cannot fight an entire team by herself, Pugna has now respawned. We'll see if he just teleports to mid lane to try to resume it. He's going to pop the smoke and then the TP, so he can get back towards his team even sooner. But this is definitely going to be the end of game 1. I think this is game 1.
player's forces are under attack.
Wicked sick.
It just never ends. So
Town is under siege.
Double kill.
Player's forces are
Triple kill.